Good morning, everybody. Today I wanted to do a quick demo to make our red lentil tortillas, which I am so thrilled about. If you guys saw the live show, then you know how excited I am. I have been trying forever to find an oil-free tortilla that is bendable and pliable and rollable and wrappable and stuffable. And you know, we use the Ezekiel sprouted grain tortillas in a lot of our recipes, especially in the Kickstart, because they're whole grain and they are tasty. The only problem is they don't wrap well, they crack. You know, they're a little bit dry. So like for our pizza roll-ups, we put the cashew mozzarella in them and all the stuffing, pizza fixings, roll them up and then quickly sear them in the pan. And that works. It seals the kind of the edges closed and it's nice and crispy and they're great like that. I try to find the burrito size because those are easier to wrap. And then that's iffy. Sometimes you can find them, sometimes you can't. So I've been, looking for different recipes to make my own, and they all have oil. I talk to chefs at restaurants when I've ordered wraps, and they've told me, oh yeah, it's all whole grains, but there's a little bit of oil. You cannot make a tortilla without oil. So I've kind of had it in my head that, I better just give up on it because it's not gonna happen. Well, I saw this recipe on one of my sites. It might have been the UC site. Somebody posted it and they're like, I tried it and it actually works. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. So it worked and I was so thrilled. Now I made these the other day and I'm just gonna see what we have here so I can show you. They came out so nicely. I mean, it takes a little bit of work. Okay, yeah, so let's see some mistakes here. That was probably my first one. I mean, it takes like some practice, but pretty soon you have nice little tortillas like this one. And look at this. I mean, they're bendable. You can, oh, now that cracked. Okay. These have been in the fridge. They're a little cold. But like, look at this one. Okay, depending on what you're making, I mean, if I was gonna make tacos, these are perfect for tacos. You stuff them and eat them right away like that. And they're a little rustic looking, I know. That one's a little thin. I mean, it just takes some practice. I'm gonna get like a really nice one here. They're a little cold, so I think they are gonna maybe crack a little. But you see what I mean? For a wrap, I could make it even bigger than this. And then you can stuff it and roll it so easily. I mean, it will stay together. I just don't have anything in it. But like, look at this. And they're really tasty. All it is 1 cup of lentils, and it makes a ton of these things. And I put in a little salt for flavor, and that's it. So you do need to pre-plan a tiny bit. So the lentils need to soak for at least 6 hours and up to 12. That's what the original recipe said. I never let them soak for over 12 hours, but it's only 1 cup of lentils and 2 cups of water. Now this is important. You're using the cooking water for the batter, so don't like change the water or anything like that. Just leave it in the bowl, put a little towel on it, and pre-plan for when you want to make them. So it's going to be at least 6 hours. And then if you're going to do it the night before, plan for 12 hours, because I don't know what happens after 12 hours. I mean, I think they might be okay, but that's what the recipe said, up to 12 hours. So then I poured my batter after it was done into here. I always use my handy dandy little plastic containers here. And I work from here. So I have my batter ready to go. I have my pan that I'm gonna get nice and hot. These are the flipper spatulas. So I like these plastic ones because they work really nicely in the nonstick. You don't have to worry about scraping your pan. And they're like tapered at the end. So they're like thin. It's really nice because it could get under the tortilla or pancakes. And then I just pull out a couple because sometimes I work really quickly and things get messy. So I pull out a couple. I have 3 that I'll pull out. You want to have a little wire rack ready just for cooling. So I'm gonna put that here, and a 1/4 of a cup measuring scoop because you don't want them any bigger than that. And what I found is I actually made this batter last night, and I put it in the fridge overnight, and it's a little bit thicker. So I know it says up to 12 hours for soaking. I just thought, well, what if I mix it all up and leave it in the fridge? Because sometimes, the timing isn't gonna work out. And what I noticed is the batter's a little thicker, which helps them set in the center of the pan. So I suggest letting the batter, let's say maybe an hour, sit in the fridge before you start. So soak 6 hours up to 12, mix everything up in your blender, and then let it sit in the fridge for maybe an hour. You don't have to, but I noticed the difference. The batter is thin, so like when you pour it into the pan, you'll see when I do the demo, it has a tendency to run, so you kind of have to play with the side of the pan. But when it's thicker, it sits right in the middle, and it's really nice. So play around with it. I think I'm gonna do that from now on. I'm gonna let it sit for an hour before I start, because thicker works better. It just goes right in the center and it doesn't really spread, and you'll see when I start. You want to have some paper towels ready too, because if you get any like messy stuff in the pan, you can just wipe it up real quick, carefully. All right, let's make some tortillas. Okay, so I have everything set up here. I have my large non-stick skillet, and it's been heating for at least 3 minutes. I have it on a medium flame. You don't want it too low or too high. Just on medium, so that's getting nice and hot. Here's my cooling rack for my tortillas when they're done. And then I have 3 of my spatulas, which I've showed you before. I have 3. You probably don't need 3, but I like to have 3 because things do get messy. Then I have a paper towel to wipe out my pan when it gets kind of messy. I have a clean dish towel here just in case I need it. And then here's my 1/4 cup scoop for my tortillas. And here is my batter. This is the spreader spatula, and these are my flipper spatulas. The first one might not come out great, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so we take just a 1/4, and then this is what I do. I put it in the center, and then I kind of go around in a circle like that, and then working quickly. All right, I already have like a little flyaway. Okay. So I just do that with the pan. Now look, it's almost like a tortilla. It's almost a nice size. Well, actually, now look, that one, I didn't really have to do anything. Okay, so now 1.5 minutes. I can't really use my phone, which I do when I'm not filming, but let's just try to gauge 1.5 minutes. And I'm gonna edit this, so. But this is what I was talking about, like spreading it here when you see some thinner spots. You can kind of spread it. Okay. That we're gonna have to want to get up. See how you kind of go around the edges here like this? And you can tell that it's coming right up. So that's why it's nice to have a thin side here. And these will, so now that's still sticking. They will get easier. I don't know if it's like the pan getting really, really hot or I just get better at it, but yes. Okay, that is still stuck right there. This is probably the part of the pan that wasn't hot because it was hanging over that side. They never seem to really brown too much. See, look at that. You can wait till the other side's done. It's really interesting. I keep feeling like this side's gonna burn and then it doesn't. Okay, coming along. See? I mean, you just kind of have to babysit. Now it's done. Okay, now flip it over. And 1 minute on this side. This stuff you're gonna wanna get rid of, any of these little splattery things, because those are just gonna get stuck onto your tortilla. And that's kind of why you have the paper towels, just to kind of wipe that up. Okay, that's been a minute. Oops. Okay. Look at that. It's hot. Okay, I'm gonna let that cool. Now just clean your pan as best you can. I know this seems like dangerous business, but it doesn't have to be perfectly clean. Okay, here we go. Right in the middle. Now, here we go. 1.5 minutes. And just like pancakes, you can kind of see these little bubbles starting to form. That means it's getting there. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, that's a minute. Look at that. Nice. It's hot. Yes, it is hot. Okay. Here we go. Number 3. See what happens here. 1/4 cup. Pour it right in the middle. Oop. Going a little crazy right there. That's okay. Don't care so much about them being perfect. You can smear it this way too, but see, now we're making it a little thinner. Okay. Okay, 1.5 minutes. There we go. This side's gonna be, there we go. Okay, now flip. 1 minute. Perfect. Okay, thin this out a little bit. Here we go. Okay, 1.5 minutes. And that 1.5 minutes works pretty perfectly. I mean, it is just about right on. Over. Look how beautiful that is. And 1 minute on this side. And then you just do this with the rest of this batter. Okay, here they are. So, whoops. So look at these little, this is probably my best one. Well, maybe this one for tortillas. Oh my goodness. They smell delicious and it's just perfect for a little taco. It's pliable, it's bendable. This one's a little bit bigger, you know, for a wrap. I mean, look at that. And then, like I said earlier, I made these the other day. This was like, you know, me practicing. They're a little rustic, but these would be even great with, we're working on some Indian recipes, you know, like the naan bread, or even Ethiopian, the injera. I mean, that's what this really looks like. Is that how you pronounce it? Injera? I love that stuff. That's kind of what this reminds me of. I mean, this would be so great with dal and lapping that up. So make these, you guys. You're gonna love them.